Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp goes down.
Down, all the way down to the ground.
I'm pretty sure, the not pretty sure. I know for a fact that the internet noticed,
Yes.
and hilarity ensued, specifically on Twitter, which is where everybody went. Some people went to Signal, which is a messaging app. Some people went to Telegram. Some people went to Discord. Pretty much everybody went to Twitter to talk
Pretty
about,
much,
yeah,
to get them jokes off.
right, to talk about Facebook going down, talk about our conspiracy theories on what happened, to talk about, just the hilarity ensues. So those are pretty good memes. Everybody's having a pretty good time, including the brands. We're having a good time. Twitter jumped in there. They put a tweet up that said, "Welcome literally everyone," because they kind of knew everybody was coming over to Twitter because their servers got hot. So they knew that uptick in traffic was coming.
Hot like fire.
TikTok and all these other companies join in on it, which as is par for the course nowadays. The popularity of brands getting in on the daily what's going on social media is tend to benefit them, to show that they're got the finger on the pulse of what's going on. So they make sure to jump into it. So I guess I wanted to ask you, before we get into the actual reason, or maybe some explanation, what do you think, in your opinion, happened, or the reason behind why it happened?
I think it's a couple things. The block was hot after that 60 Minutes interview.
Okay.
Everybody was on Facebook's ass because, like, what? But should they really be surprised?
Right.
That's my thing. People that were so surprised, I was like, we lived through Cambridge Analytica.
Right.
We shouldn't be too surprised about this. We've
Right.
lived through the beef that they've had, with Apple.
Uh-huh.
We've lived through these type of things. Now, I did see some tweets about, DNS, and I was like, let me go and see what's going on. And it was quite suspicious to me that the name server appeared to be gone. But I don't think it was fully gone. I think some of the records were dropped. But again, it's easy. If you got a backup, it's easy to restore that back. But I just found it extremely suspicious that this whistleblower comes out. To me, they had to have some kind of idea that the story was coming. I don't know if they were able, what was this? Was it 60 Minutes? I don't know if 60 Minutes was able to completely keep this in the dark from getting back to someone at Facebook for them to be aware. I, putting on my tinfoil hat, it's just very suspicious to me that she got so much data and information from, I'm assuming from her time there, that she can back up exactly what she was saying. I, tinfoil hat on, my first thought was, they took everything offline. They are scrubbing their servers. They are doing security checks to see who has access, what, when, where, how, who may have helped her on the inside still, if she still had people there, if she didn't get everything she wanted.
So you bring up a good point that I haven't heard before. I haven't heard this before. I've heard people say that Facebook wanted to show the world after this whole 60 Minutes thing. So let's get into it, right? So what you're mentioning is a Facebook whistleblower. Her name was Frances Hagen. Hagen, I think that's her name.
We'll go with that. Sorry for mispronouncing it, girl, but that's what we're going with.
She did a 60 Minutes interview and claimed the company is aware, not, we're trying to fix it. They're aware of how its platforms are used to spread hate, violence, and misinformation, and that Facebook has tried to hide the evidence. The interview followed weeks of reporting about criticism of Facebook after Hagen released thousands of pages of internal documents to regulators and the Wall Street Journal. Thousands of pages of internal documents that she smuggled out of Facebook. So that gets me to your point. I've heard people say Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook shut down Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp to show the world that you need us.
Mhm.
And if all this Senate regulations go through and the government
Mm.
gets in on shutting down or regulating quote unquote free speech, you know, this is what life may be if the government interferes. So they kind of
Mm.
wanted to give people a taste of what it would
Little
look.
warning shot.
Right, exactly. Now, what you said makes even more sense to a conspiracy theorist. I'm not saying this is the actual thing, but the fact that Facebook went down to cover the fact that they wanted to go in and make sure that the information she was able to get out of Facebook, they sew up those holes and tie that up real quick and get those loose ends on the cover that, oh, our bad, Facebook is down. Some stuff happened with
Mhm.
DNS. The roadmap to Facebook got taken down because of some maintenance stuff, right? What really
Mhm.
happened is we took down Facebook to plug these leaks and plug these holes to figure out, to make sure, one, to figure out how she got all the information out of Facebook, and
Mhm.
two, make sure this never happens again. So I
And to
hadn't heard,
see if anybody helped her,
and
because
see if
she hasn't
anybody
been
helped
there
her.
for a while, and
Right.
I'm pretty sure after all this happened, because it was down so long, I'm sure all of their cybersecurity experts, they were putting in additional checks on the server. They were
Mhm.
checking backdoors. They
Uh-huh.
probably put backdoor systems on there that are running in the background to see who clicks on what file, who
Mhm.
opened what file, who saves one file, who emails it. If you're
Mhm.
using a thumb drive, who's popping in thumb drives, because who use thumb drives anymore?
Right.
I'm thinking that their cybersecurity people, their defense folks were like, let's break the seal on the red envelope and
Mhm.
enact all these crazy restrictions that we thought, you know what, we might do this one day. Ha ha ha. Let's see if it's funny. I think that is likely what happened, because this was a huge breach and she does have records to support everything that she said. So now they're like, we are in a bind. How are
Right.
we going to get out of this?